Welcome to lesson number 2. I'm assuming that the reason that you're here is because you're interested in starting an online business or because you already have an online business and you want to make it better. So for this lesson, I would like to specifically address those of you who have not yet started an online business, or perhaps you're just in the very beginning stage of creating an online business. We need to answer some questions to see if this is something that you really want to get yourself into. Most internet marketing gurus will tell you that it's for everyone and that everyone and their dog should have an online business. They'll tell you that because they want you to buy more stuff from them. However, as much as I'd like you to buy some stuff from me someday, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste your money on something that's not for you. Because the fact of the matter is that starting a business isn't for everyone, and we're going to spend the majority of the next couple lessons determining if this is a good fit for you. So the first question we need to answer is, what is an online business? My personal definition is that it's a business which is conducted primarily on the internet. And I say primarily because there are some online businesses which have offline components and some offline businesses which have online components. For example, let's consider someone who's making a full-time living on eBay. Is this an online business? I would say yes, because their marketplace is on the internet and all of their marketing and transactions occur online. But are there some offline components? Certainly. Most likely they have to package up their merchandise and mail it to the buyers and all that fun stuff. But it's essentially an online business. On the other hand, let's look at a company like the New York Times, one of the oldest and most well-known newspapers in the world. Are they an offline business? Certainly. But do they have an online component? Absolutely. They're constantly adapting their product for the online world because they have to in order to stay competitive. But I would not consider them to be an online business. Not yet anyway. Which brings me to my next point. A website is not an online business. Now, it's true that most online businesses have a website or multiple websites, but it's not the website that makes it a business. After all, there are all kinds of websites, many of which are not businesses. Some websites are informational and some are personal. Some are humorous and others are artistic in nature. Any of those types of sites could be businesses if they have some form of monetization. In other words, do they have some way of making money? Likewise, many websites are not directly monetized, but they play some functional role in a business. Okay, so the reason I wanted to explain this is because I want to give you a clearer picture of what you're getting into. Yes, you will most likely have a website, but that's not what it's all about. So let me tell you something else that an online business isn't. It's not a job. So if you're basically looking for a 9-to-5 work-from-home job with benefits and security, this isn't it. Now, if you build your business the right way, you'll discover that you have a lot more security than anyone with a job. In fact, those who succeed will never need another job for the rest of their life because they can always generate income on demand. But the point is that this is a business, not a job. And yes, with any business, there is absolutely risk involved. I've come to understand that the risks of this business are in many ways smaller than the risks of working at a job. But I also realize that there is a percentage of the population who have a serious aversion to the risk of starting a business. So if that's you, you'll either need to A, get over your fear, or B, decide to be happy with your job and forget about starting a business. Now, I realize that if you've never started a business before, there are still a million unanswered questions in your mind, and that's okay because I'll be addressing many of those questions in the next lessons. For example, you might be wondering about startup costs and how much time it's going to take and all that stuff. And we'll be covering a lot of that in the next lesson. And maybe you're wondering if and when you'll need to quit your job, and we'll be covering that sometime around lesson 16 or so. But for now, I only have one question for you and one action step for today. And that's for you to answer this question. Do I want to run my own business? Now notice I didn't ask whether you think you have the necessary requirements or if you have enough money or enough time or anything like that. Right now, I'm only asking if you want to have your own business, because if you don't desire it, then you probably won't have the willpower to succeed, in which case we might as well part ways right now. Otherwise, you could end up spending months of frustration trying to build an internet business only to fail because you didn't actually want a business in the first place. If you're really not sure what a business is, feel free to do some research and talk to some people about it before answering the question. It's always wise to get good counsel, but here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to go ask your spouse or other family members, hey, should I start an internet business? Because family members are going to have a tendency to be negative toward it. And I'm thankful that most of my family has been pretty supportive. But I know for a fact that most people's spouses and parents are going to advise them to stay away from what they perceive to be risky. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're married, then it's in your best interest to have your partner on board with the idea before moving forward with it. But now is probably not the right time to talk about it if you're still learning about what an online business is. You need to have more of an understanding and game plan in mind before you pitch it to your spouse. If you do talk to anyone, you need to talk to some successful business owners who are making a lot of money, okay? They are more likely to tell you the pros and cons of having your own business. And it's okay if they're not in the online business world, and you don't necessarily have to tell them that you're starting an online business, but just talk to them in general about business and ask them what they can tell you about the lifestyle of a business owner and the difficulties and the rewards of it. So that's all for today. It's just one question, but I want you to take some time and commit to your answer before moving on to the next lesson. If you answered yes, you want a business, then be sure to tune into the next lesson in which we're going to determine whether an online business is the right type of business for you.